Hello students, how are you doing? I trust you're staying safe. Please do continue to stay safe. You're welcome once again to another online class. And today we'll be treating the third topic on our scheme, which is the use of a passive voice with examples. The use of a passive voice with examples. Our first class, we treated the introduction to passive voice and active voice. We treated the introduction to passive voice and active voice. And our second class, we highlighted the active voice. And I remember I said that the active voice is used when the subject is the doer or the performer of an action. Okay, but today our focus will be on the use of passive voice with examples. So, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to state the use of the passive voice. You should be able to state the use of the passive voice. Also, you should be able to change sentences from active voice to passive voice. Moving on, what is the passive voice? The passive voice is used when we want to emphasize the action, that is the verb. When we want to emphasize the action and the object of the sentence rather than the subject. This means that the subject is either less important than the action itself, or that we don't know who or what the subject is. Now, the passive voice, this is when the subject is the receiver of the action, or when the subject is the recipient of the action. Let's take this example. For instance, this example in the passive voice, 20 civilians were killed in the bomb explosion. In the active voice, it becomes someone killed 20 civilians in the bomb explosion. Moving on, the passive voice in each tense, the simple present tense. In our second term, we treated the various types of tenses and talked about the simple present tense, the simple past tense, the present continuous tense, the past continuous tense, the future tense, and other tenses. So this is the simple present tense in the passive voice. The auxiliary verb used in passive voice here are is, and are. Active voices and passive voices. Examples in the active voices and passive voices. He writes a letter. A letter is written by him. This is the first example here. He does not write a letter. A letter is not written by him. Does he write a letter? Is a letter written by him? They sell books. Books are sold by them. She helps him. He is helped by her. Now, if you take a look at sentences in the passive voice here, you will notice that the auxiliary verbs is, and her are used in the sentences. Let's move on to the next tense, which is the present continuous tense. The present continuous tense. The auxiliary verbs used in the passive voices are rather is being, are being, and am being. Examples in the active voices and passive voices. The first example here is she is singing. A song is being sung by her. She is not singing a song. A song is not being sung by her. Is she singing a song? Is the song being sung by her? They are eating apples. Apples are being eaten by them. You are disturbing me. I am being disturbed by you. Also, in these sentences, in the passive voice, you will notice that the auxiliary verb is being, are being, and am being are used in these examples. Moving on to the next tense now, we have the present perfect tense. The present perfect tense. Auxiliary verbs used in the present perfect, used in this passive voice are has been and have been. He has completed the work. The work has been completed by him. He has not completed the work. The work has not been completed by him. Has he completed the work? Has the work been completed by him? She has written 5 poems. 5 poems have been written by her. I have some cakes. I have made some cakes. Some cakes have been made by me. So these are sentence examples of passive voice, of active and passive voice in the present perfect tense. Moving on to the simple past tense, the auxiliary verbs used in passive voice here, we have was and were, active voices and passive voices. He bought a car. A car was bought by him. He did not buy a car. A car was not bought by him. Did he buy a car? Was a car bought by him? She decorated the walls where the walls were decorated by her. I helped them. They were helped by me. Moving on to the past perfect tense. The auxiliary verb used in this particular tense, the passive voice, is had been. The first example, they had won the game. The game had been won by them. They had not won the game. The game had not been won by them. Had they won the game? Had the game been won by them? He had collected coins. Coins had been collected by him. Moving on to the past continuous tense. Auxiliary verbs used in passive voice here are was being and were being. The first example, she was washing a shirt. She was washing a shirt. A shirt was being washed by her. She was not washing a shirt. A shirt was not being washed by her. Was she washing a shirt? Was a shirt being washed by her? Boys were singing songs. Boys were singing songs. Songs was being sung by some boys. Song was being sung by some boys. The simple future tense. Auxiliary verbs used in passive voices will be, will be. This is the future tense. The first example, she will write a poem. A poem will be written by her. She will write a poem. A poem will be written by her. She will not write a poem. A poem will not be written by her. Will she write a poem? Will the poem be written by her? They will arrange the money. They will arrange the money. The money will be arranged by them. So here we have the future perfect tense. The future perfect tense. Auxiliary verbs used in passive voice will have been. Will have been. The first example here, he will have received the letter. He will have received the letter. The letter will have been received by him. The letter will have been received by him. He will not have received the letter. He will not have received the letter. The letter will not have been received by him. The letter will not have been received by him. And lastly, will he have received the letter? Will the letter have been received by him? Let's take a quick recap of what we've been doing so far. Yes, this topic is the third topic on our scheme, and it is the use of passive voice with examples. The use of passive voice with examples. And I stated the learning objectives at the beginning of this lesson. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to say the use of passive voice. Also, you should be able to change sentences from the active voice to the passive voice. And the definition of what a passive voice is. The passive voice is used when you want to emphasize the action and the object of a sentence rather than the subject. Unlike the active voice, where the subject in the sentence is the doer or the performer of the action. But in the passive voice, the subject here is the receiver or the recipient of an action. This means that the subject is either less important than the action itself, or that we don't know who or what the subject is. Example of the sentence of the passive voice: 20 civilians were killed in the bomb explosion. 20 civilians were killed in the bomb explosion. A sentence in the active voice now: someone killed 20 civilians in the bomb explosion. Also, when further to look at the passive voice in different tenses. The passive voice in the different tenses. The first is the simple present tense. And the auxiliary verb used in the passive voice here, we have is, are, and are. I hear some examples of that. Here, he writes a letter is written by him. He does not write a letter is not written by him. Moving on to the next, we talked about the present continuous tense. We talked about the present continuous tense. And the auxiliary verb used in the passive voice here are is being, and are being. For example, she is singing a song. A song is being sung by her. She is not singing a song. The song is not being sung by her. Also, I talked about the present perfect tense. The present perfect tense. And the auxiliary verb used in the present perfect tense are has been and have been. He has completed the work. The work has been completed by him. He has not completed the work. The work has not been completed by him. Moving on to the simple past tense. The auxiliary verb used in the simple past tense are was and were. He bought a car. The car was bought by him. He did not buy a car. The car was not bought by him. Moving on, past perfect tense. Auxiliary verb used in the passive voice had been. We have had been. They had won the game. The game had been won by them. They had not won the game. The game had not been won by them. Also, the past continuous tense. The auxiliary verb used in the passive voice here are was being and were being. For example, she was washing a shirt. A shirt was being washed by her. She was not washing a shirt. A shirt was not being washed by her. The simple future tense. The auxiliary verb used in the passive voice here have will be. She will write a poem. A poem will be written by her. She will not write a poem. A poem will not be written by her. And lastly, we talked about the auxiliary, the future perfect tense. The auxiliary verb in the future perfect tense used in the passive voice here, we have will have been. Will have been. Examples: he will have received the letter. The letter will have been received by him. He will not have received the letter. The letter will not been received by him. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you understand everything that has been taught in this video. I look forward to your questions. If you have any questions, kindly share your questions through the WhatsApp group. Thank you. And I hope to do this soon again. Please copy your notes and attend to your assignments. Keep staying safe and bye for now.